Well, it's a real pleasure to be joined here on GCR by this man who we've had a few opportunities over the years to chat with, but it's the first time that we get to say we welcome in NBA champion and Maryland legend Aaron Wiggins back with us now here on GCR. Aaron, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you, man. Congratulations. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm happy to, be able to join the show again, and obviously super excited coming off a NBA championship. So I appreciate the congratulations.
Dude, have your feet like even returned to earth at any point over the course of the last couple of weeks? Like, have you even had a moment where it's been like, oh my God, this is real?
Man, I'm just like on an all-time high. There's
Yeah.
just no feeling and no way to really describe the constant just energy that, kind of repeats itself every single day. So no, I can't tell you that, I've been able to just step back on earth yet and come back to, life, but it's an awesome feeling, man, and I'm going to enjoy it. So.
Nah, dude, I can only imagine, right? Let me go back a second because I know it had to be difficult. And maybe you'll tell me it wasn't because of how good the team was. But when you arrive, when you get into the NBA, you prove everybody wrong. You prove that you should have gone earlier in the draft. We see why it is the Thunder wanted you there. They give you this big contract. And then your role ends up being like kind of minimized a bit and you don't have the consistent minutes. How did you handle all of that to not let that get to you and to be ready when your name was called to deliver time and time again big performances throughout the course of the playoffs?
Yeah, man, I think so much of it was just kind of understanding that the NBA is a super competitive, league, and there are a lot of times where, maybe your role gets minimized, maybe, you see more opportunity, but the people who kind of find ways to last and to stay in the NBA, the guys who find success are the ones who are able to kind of withstand, whatever ups and downs they kind of go through. So even, the highest of highs where you might be playing your best and you're getting, 25, 30 minutes a night, not being like being able to control and keep yourself from getting too high in those moments and just kind of being able to have a balance so that also when the lows exist, you're not too low. You're also, ready for, whatever opportunity presents itself later on. Just being able to kind of understand that and have that mindset allowed me to kind of stay grounded and, trust that my work is going to get its opportunity to show.
Aaron, is that easy or does that like take phone calls? Do you have to reach out to somebody and say, I don't get this? Like, was it natural for you to understand the process, if you will, when all of that started?
I mean, I would say that there's definitely a natural sense of, being able to understand it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm human. Like a lot of like everyone has emotions, and a lot of people sometimes take those emotions out in, the wrong scenarios and in the wrong environment. So it definitely takes phone calls and it takes, conversations with, our head coach, people in the front office just to kind of, remind yourself and give yourself that comfort that, things are still going to be okay, regardless of what it looks like in the moment. And I give credit to our front office and my head coach because they're always direct. They're always, just kind of giving you an idea of, maybe what it is they have going on or what they're looking at. And that also gives me, just a certain sense of, trust to be able to stick with, them when they're looking at something, or maybe it's myself and the work that I'm putting in.
So, how much more sweeter is it then when you have a night like game 2 or like game 5, like where you just have a night where you remind everybody, like, oh, by the way, and me too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes it, all the much more just kind of like sweeter, I guess you could say. When you have those type of nights, especially you're talking about like there's regular season games where I could have really good games
Yeah.
where my minutes beforehand might not have been great, but then I have a good regular season game. But we're talking about the NBA Finals and
Yeah.
like where we won the championship. And there were two really big games where I think my contribution, contributed in a big way to uplift our team and give us wins. So, I mean, it just makes it that much more sweeter because there are highs and lows that everybody goes through. But to be able to withstand that and then have those moments just speaks volumes to the work and just the willingness to stand tall through the rough moments.
He is Aaron Wiggins. He's with us here on GCR, NBA champion with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Aaron, what is it about this group, right? Like, I think from the outside, a lot of us have been really enamored with watching your group of guys come together and like the post-game interview thing. It seems like such a silly thing, but like it gives a lot of people a lot of joy to see that relationship that you all share and how special it is. Where did that come from? How were you all able to bond this way and sort of grow together the way that you have?
Man, so much of it is just the kind of natural personality and the characteristics that each kind of individual that comes into our organization brings to the table. Our organization does a good job of just creating an environment where everybody can kind of be welcomed and feel like they can be themselves, and that allows for each individual to put forth their best effort and come to work every day with a positive attitude and just an outlook of knowing that they're going to be in a comfortable environment and a situation where they could be themselves and still get the best work out of it. And it allows for, I think, what you've seen in the last couple of years, which is just a fun environment, an entertaining environment, and one where guys are still kind of obviously focused on what it takes to succeed. And when it all comes together, we have a run like we did this season.
And obviously that goes a long way into being maybe more understanding of where your role is. Is like, boy, you're a part of something special, whatever that role is. Yeah,
certainly. I mean, it just obviously just goes to, like I said, the togetherness that exists within our team. It's something special, and it's something that when you get a certain taste of it and a feel for it, you're understanding that this isn't something that you're going to see often, and you want to be a part of it.
No, it's really special, man. When did you know it would be championship special? Like, was there a moment for you, or did it take until like you guys actually felt the confetti, right? Like, was there a moment for you that it struck you like, dude, this isn't just fun. We're going to win championships, this group of players?
I can't say that there was a moment where I specifically said we're going to win championships. But there was a time, I want to say maybe my second year, where we were in the play-in. And it was our first, like as a young group together, it was our first postseason run. And we had a really good game and response against the Pelicans, I think. And we ended up winning that game. And then the next game, we ended up losing to Minnesota. But the way that we handled, our first postseason run together as a team against the Pelicans, and we were able to kind of grit out a win on the road against, a good Pelicans team, it just kind of gave a certain sense of like, the more we get to kind of taste this postseason run and see what it's like, the better we'll get. And then obviously the next season, I think we lost to Dallas in the second round. And that kind of gave us a little more experience and a little more fuel to kind of, learn and see, what we could be better, going into, the postseason. And then this year we were able to kind of put it together. And I think there were still experiences where we went to Game 7 against Denver. And that was one where, our competitiveness and, our togetherness was kind of tested. And we were able to come out of that alive. And then when we saw Game 7 again in Indiana, like I said, our competitiveness, our togetherness was kind of tested again. And to come out on top of that and win a ring, it just kind of shows what we're capable of. So I think there's experiences that continue to just kind of grow within our team, and it strengthens our togetherness.
What are the best perks that come with being the savior of basketball, Aaron?
Oh, man, just I don't know how to word it, dude. Just the constant support and the fans who are just kind of like always backing me, and you know that energy, it's one of a kind. It's one that I never thought would, you know, be behind me. But I love it. I love it.
It's so. Were you when you first saw it, when people brought it to your attention, were you at all afraid of like, dude, I don't know that I want people to call me like this. I don't want to know that I want people to say Aaron Wiggins saved basketball. When did you embrace that as not being something you needed to run away from?
I mean, the first time I saw it was when I was at the University of Maryland my sophomore year, maybe my freshman year, but there was never like a sense of I don't want that kind of, you know, name, or
Yeah,
I don't want that pressure. It's always been just kind of fun,
fun.
and
Yeah,
you know, something that I thought would be, you know, if it stuck, it would stick the right way, and it'd be something that we'd enjoy. And if it didn't, then you know, it'd be okay.
right.
But there was never any feeling of, you know, not wanting that, you know, name to stick, or you know, there being pressure with it.
Dude, it's so cool to see how that fan base just like loves you, and I wondered if that was what came out. So much was made about your speech at the parade, and dude, it was the coolest thing ever. Like it was just awesome.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not stunned. Like we've talked to you since you were in high school. Was the first time I had a conversation with you, and we've
Right.
always known that you were happy to be able to talk. But like, was that what came out in that moment? Was just like what you were giving back from what that fan base had given to you since you arrived there?
I mean, certainly. I mean, the fans' energy in that moment was just kind of through the roof, and knowing kind of what the state of Oklahoma, behind this, you know, organization has had, and the things that they've kind of went through, in their existence in Oklahoma, you can see and you could feel the energy behind, you know, that championship, and the energy in that arena and in the city. And I was just trying to find a way to bring out the most of that energy.
Dude.
And those fans were just so electric, and I don't know how to explain it, but I was just kind of, you know, going with the flow, and trying to find ways to put into perspective, you know, what the city of Oklahoma has kind of went through, in the process of, you know, supporting Oklahoma, the Thunder, and you know, up to this point. And it was just an electric moment.
Dude, I don't, I'm no connection to Oklahoma City at all, right? Like
Right.
zero. Now, we like you, obviously, a ton, and we were rooting for the hell
Right.
for you. But, bro, I was
Right.
ready to run through a wall for you in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Have you ever considered, like, could pro wrestling maybe be a part of your future somehow? Maybe like a manager that cuts promos or something like that?
I haven't thought that deep into anything like that yet. Maybe that's something I look at down the road, but man, that moment is just one of a kind.
Oh,
That's one that I like.
that was so cool, man. It was so cool. Any chance you've got a little bit of run in you for like Team Shell Shock in the basketball tournament this summer? Any chance that after playing as many games as you did, you could still go give them like a couple minutes during the course of the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, no, not at all. not one bit. Not one bit. I'd love to, but there's no chance. There's no chance.
I've noticed that Maryland alums. Obviously, it's been a tough year for Maryland. And you go back a couple of coaches clearly, but I've seen a lot of alums who've like wanted to be more involved and have wanted to say, hey, we can't have this happen to this program. We need more equity. I know you've had bigger fish to fry. I understand that you were in the process of trying to win an NBA championship. But, like, have you talked to any guys about that? And, like, have you felt a little bit of that, like a desire, hey, we want to have a little bit more ownership and a little bit more involvement with the program to make sure that we get Maryland basketball to where it needs to be?
Yeah, that's definitely been, you know, small topics here and there that I think a lot of guys kind of have had, and even speaking to some of, you know, the former teammates that I know, guys are trying to find ways to just kind of make sure that they're, you know, being around and finding ways to, you know, kind of uplift the whole Maryland basketball program and everything they have going. And I think you'll start to see guys start coming around a little bit more and trying to just kind of be a part of what Maryland has, because I know it's special, and it's something that a lot of guys hold dear and near, from their childhood up to this point. So that's definitely something that guys have talked about, and you'll start to see more guys kind of being involved and coming around a little bit more.
I think we can agree on one particular aspect, which is that Keith Gatlin should be so very involved with Maryland basketball. He should be like the president of Maryland basketball moving forward.
Man, no question, no question. He'd be a perfect guy to kind of be over here, and that's something that I've had conversations about, just in regards of him. There's no reason he's not over there, helping out with that program. So, we'll see how things go, but he would definitely be somebody who could have a positive impact over there.
The fourth Maryland alum ever to be an NBA champion, joining Adrian Branch, Keith Booth, and Tony Massenberg. Is that, like, it's a small group of guys. Like, does that resonate with you in any way, that, like, that's the company that you're in?
Yeah, I mean, it gives me chills when I hear, like, numbers like that.
Yeah.
Like, how rare of a thing that is, all over the world. So it definitely resonates with me. It's something that I don't take for granted. And like I said, man, it gives me chills. It's hard to kind of completely grasp and understand, just kind of how blessed I am to be, a part of a team that was able to, accomplish something like this. And then also just looking back at the journey and understanding where I came from and how things have played out to this point. So, it's awesome to be a part of that, group of four.
Oh, Aaron, you still there? Oh, I think his phone might have cut out. That's all right. Aaron Wiggins, if you can hear me, just want to tell you, man, how thrilled we are for you, how happy we are, how meaningful it is that you have joined that group of guys, and we'll make sure that we're in touch moving forward. But Aaron, congratulations on being an NBA champion, and thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.